What's up, Nation? It's your boy Tommy SB, joined once again by Paulie D. We got the Wednesday edition of the NBA First Look podcast. What's happening, Paulie? I know you're a Giants fan. I'm a Browns fan. So thank you so much for Odell.
Yeah, a lot of shit going on. Le'Veon Bell, Shefty just reported signing with the Jets. Been a lot of things going on in the NFL last 2 days. AB to the Raiders, and personally, every Giant fan liked Odell. He did start to get a little cancerous there at the end, but that's what happens on all teams that are doing terrible. And I really don't think a ton of it is a reflection of him. I think he, in good situations is going to make teams a lot better. And, just, coming to a team that's really ready to win, solid offensive line, solid defensively, and now, adding a absolute dynamic weapon, probably one of the top five most dangerous receivers in the game, best hands in the game, to a quarterback who really impressed as a rookie, adding to his former LSU teammate. Nice little 1-2 punch at receiver, and they signed Kareem Hunt, so things are finally looking up for Browns fans. And as a Giants fan, I hope that the draft pick works out and that we use it on an offensive lineman, because it doesn't matter who we got, Odell, Saquon. If we don't have an offensive line, we're just going to continue to struggle. So, I think, long run, it probably is going to be a better trade for the Browns, but I don't think, it's the worst move for the Giants. I know, like, sticker shock, it's like, oh my God, but the Giants aren't really ready to win in the next 2 years, and probably longer, because we're going to have to replace Eli, and who knows how long that'll take. And, outside of Saquon Barkley, who's, amazing. And I think that was another part of it is, they were going to start to focus on the run some more and wanted to, use that money and talent at other positions besides receiver. So we'll see. But if I'm you, I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, man. I just hope that they don't sit there and let Kareem Hunt play for like the first 5-6 games of the season and then suspend him for the next 10. Based on his crap from last year. So that's my biggest fear, is that he'll get in, he'll become a solid part of the team, and then they're going to pull him for the rest of the season because he's going to get suspended. So, I'm expecting at least 10 games. That's the same thing they did for what's his face when he did it. So I guess we'll see. So, all right, man. I know your cheat sheets, man. I played a lot of today, did pretty decent. So I know your cheat sheets were pretty much spot on. I know one of your super value guys. What was his name? Started with an S. He went for like 9.5x or something like that. I can't remember.
With an S.
He was.
I don't know why.
Point guard. So super cheap. I can't remember. He was like $3,500.
Brandon Knight, Ryan Arcidiacono.
There you go.
Yeah, he was a cash game guy. Teddy Osman was in the core. Lou Williams said he did really well. Lou Williams is on his way to getting there. But yeah, the nation's been really hot. Like, a couple banner wins, 10K in hockey, MG, a couple, takedowns. But guys are like, we had a kid, I honestly can't remember the name, but he did like on $7, he won like 1,500. Like, those are special wins, like.
Yeah, $6.50 into 15,501 or something like that. Yeah, man,
even a dude like Chuck, he's, one of the more I don't know, loud guys in the chat, but he's been with us. He grinds it out, and on $4, he turned one of those $1 teams into 400 in like a 50,000 man tournament, finishing up in the top 20. Like, those are really nice wins that are hard to come by. And every day there's a handful of wins in that Slack, which is like good. It's like, that's what we're trying to do, is have everyone get a little taste of success, get, like a week, month changing win. And it just feels like more and more guys are winning in bunches lately. I mean, I've had success in basketball lately after really struggling at the beginning of the year. So, I think it's all kind of coming together, which is interesting because usually we do better at the beginning of seasons with sports, but This year we're doing it the other way in basketball, and baseball's right around the corner. Guys are already playing preseason baseball, which I honestly didn't think would have any popularity. It never has, but it really has taken off this year, and guys are doing really well. Baseball's probably our strongest sport as a company, so really looking forward to MLB kicking off in about 2 weeks. And we're just going to continue to grind NBA day by day.
Hell yeah, man.
Screenshots at the end of the night.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, man. So I guess we'll jump right in. Look at this. We got a nice little 6-game slate tomorrow. We'll start off at point guard. Paulie, what you got up above 6K?
All right, so there's a couple decent games on this slate. 6-game slates, you do have to kind of think about game flows for each specific game. Like, we've got Golden State Houston going to be the marquee game of the night. Kevin Durant's already ruled out, so it makes everyone on Golden State play. We know the players on Houston. Then we have a couple decent games. Orlando, Washington. Orlando's been playing well. Washington's been playing really well, really fast. Brooklyn, OKC, very similar. Two teams faster than Orlando, Washington, so could make for a good DFS spot. Brooklyn doesn't play any D. OKC plays very fast. We know the guys we want there. Then there's a Detroit, Miami. Not going to be a high total, but it's going to be a close spread. Both these teams are fighting to make the playoffs. Sometimes games like that fall into overtime, things like that. Then we got, everybody's favorite team to pick on, Atlanta, taking on Memphis. So, Memphis is going to be getting paced way up. We'll see who's, potentially in or out. They seem to always have a couple guys out, opening up usage for value guys. And then Utah, Phoenix. In Phoenix, we do have a spread on that, 7 points, 222 over under. Phoenix has actually been decent second half of the year too. And, the other day they were the late night hammer. Devin Booker went for like 60 some odd points at very low ownership. So I don't think there's any game that you just want to cross off, honestly. And, we'll see what shakes out. This is my honest first look. I'm looking at DraftKings. Russell Westbrook, 11K against Brooklyn. He's got great history. Um, you know, just had some issues in the media. Some fans kind of calling him out. Maybe that motivates him to just go out and dominate. I do have interest in Russ. I kind of feel like he may get overlooked tomorrow with no Durant, so Curry and everyone else on the Warriors is going to be popular. And then we got Harden in that same game. So, Russ versus Brooklyn, I think is definitely appealing at 11K. Moving down the list, Steph Curry, 9,300 with no Durant, gets a massive usage bump. Going to be very popular. I definitely think Golden State's going to want to beat Houston. They haven't beat them this year. And, I think they want to get at least one win on the books before potentially seeing them in the Western Conference Finals. Next guy on the list, Mike Conley. He's getting a ton of usage, taking on Atlanta. There's opportunity for steals and blocks. He's 7,800, could certainly go for 50 plus in a close game. So he's a guy that I'll have some interest in. Chris Paul is 6,900. That is crazy cheap. He hasn't been great lately, but a lot of that is poor shooting. He will certainly get up for this game. As long as the game stays close, he will get bigger minutes than he normally does. He had a couple huge games against them in the playoffs last year, and until he got hurt, it did look like Houston was going to win. The last game against Golden State, he went for 59 back in February 23rd, not even that long ago. 6,900. That's crazy cheap. I like that a lot. Spencer Dinwiddie, 6,100. This kid's just been balling since coming back from injury and getting his contract extension. Getting paced up against OKC. I certainly could have some interest there. Ricky Rubio, I wanted to see what the status is. He is, he missed the last few games, but he was like, close. It said he's probable to play tomorrow against the Suns. Not that I'm interested in Rubio, but I might have been interested in other other guys on the Jazz if he was going to be out. But just wanted to check that real quick.
What do you think about Chris Paul at 8,500 over on FanDuel? It's huge price discrepancy between the two.
Yeah, as it always is, but I still kind of like it. I don't know what he is in relation to the other guys, but like I don't really like playing Harden on FanDuel. It's just not really conducive to the way he plays, the scoring system. And it is very conducive to Chris Paul. And, with the popularity of what Curry's going to be tomorrow, like no one's going to play Chris Paul. I think you can. Obviously, 8,500, he's got to go for 50 or better. So it's not like a nut spot like 6,900 is on DraftKings, but he's not out of play at that price, and he'll be very low owned.
Yeah, there's only a $700 difference between him and Curry. Curry's only 92, so
yeah, Curry's.
I think that's going to make it even more.
Yeah. And that's really it. I went down to 5K, by the way, but I don't really see anyone else that's that interesting.
Okay. Anything down to value time you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's see. So Avery Bradley's been playing really well. He's 4,800. I know he's shooting guard on FanDuel, and he's probably too expensive on FanDuel. Against Atlanta, this could be a game where he thrives and gets a couple steals, a couple blocks on top of scoring. They're just getting so paced up. I don't mind that. DJ Augustine is 4,300 against Washington. He has shown us some upside into 30s and even 40s. Washington plays super fast. I don't mind that. I'm kind of reaching. I don't see a ton down here. If we knew Goran Dragic would play 25 minutes or more at 4,500, I love playing point guards against Detroit, but I doubt we do get that kind of news. That's really it. It's actually pretty shallow once you get below 5K. And it's only 6-game slate, so Avery Bradley, DJ Augustine are all right, but really you're going to be looking to pay up for some of those studs on this slate tomorrow.
All right, man. So, what you got over shooting guard?
Yeah, so, James Harden, 11-2. I think you could on DraftKings play Chris Paul and James Harden together. It's not very common, but they're going to be up for this game. They do a ton. They correlate by getting assists with some of the bigs like Capella or even maybe the Manimal. So I do like Harden as well. Harden definitely on DraftKings. Probably wouldn't play him on FanDuel. Chris Paul, I'd play on both sites. And because he's so cheap on DraftKings, I think you could actually play them together, especially if you're grabbing some of the Warriors. Klay Thompson with like hasn't missed a beat after missing. I know Grant, like he's definitely in play, gonna be getting a lot of James Harden defense.
Yeah, you cut out pretty bad there for about 5-10 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And your videos froze too.
Scored.
There we go. And now you're good.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson. He's only had 2 games since returning from injury, and he's gone for 48.8 and 58.8 with no Durant. Gonna have increased usage. Gonna get James Harden D. Fast-paced game. Like excellent play. You could play him with Curry. I think you separate the two, and he's like a nice 2K savings off of Curry. Probably more upside, to be honest. Like Curry at 9, he's got to go for like 65, which he certainly could. But Klay really needs to get like 45, which I think is like what he's probably going to get. So definitely like Klay. Just a sec.
Yeah, Klay's only 8K on FanDuel too, so I think that's pretty. Like you said, if he gets me a 50, 45, 50, I'm happy. That's 6X already. So
Um, if you don't want to play Eric Gordon and Chris Paul. Eric Gordon's been playing really well at 5,100. Getting way paced up by Golden State. He's definitely interesting as well. And then lastly, Dwayne Wade. If Josh Richardson's out, definitely like Dwayne Wade, but like Dwayne Wade in games that are close or expected to be close, these teams battling for the playoffs, I could see them leaning on him a little bit more. He's huge usage, good point per minute. And if Josh Richardson's out, I will really like him.
All right, man. Is that it for the top? You want to hit the value time?
Yeah. So, Josh Richardson, if he were to be out, Dion Waiters would become a really nice play at 4,800. We like, point guards, shooting guards against Detroit. Going a little bit lower, Kevin Huerter of Atlanta. Dude was on fire against New Orleans. This isn't the same matchup, but he's just too cheap for a guy who's going to take, 10 plus shots. 50 or 60% of those will be threes, and can contribute, getting a couple rebounds, assists at 4,200. I like that. Andre Iguodala, 4K with no Durant. You're going to see him play a bunch of minutes. Just feels a little too cheap for what his role is going to be. That's probably it. Did I miss anything? Yeah, Joe Harris is 4,500 against OKC. Problem is, there's like Alan Crabb for 500 cheaper on the same team. You got Damari Carroll at small forward. All these guys, it's very hard to predict who's going to have. But we're just looking for guys that should make value with some upside. It's that bill against a team like OKC.
All right, man. I was just building. I got Klay Thompson, Eric Gordon are the two that I liked over on FanDuel so far.
What's Thompson on FanDuel?
Klay Thompson?
Mm-hmm.
8. And then Gordon's 56 too. So
yeah, if you're not playing Harden, it's nice to go grab Gordon, and he's been really good lately. The shot's been hot. 8K for Thompson on FanDuel is not as attractive. Like, most of his scoring comes from threes. On DraftKings, you're getting 3.5 points. You're only getting 3 on FanDuel. Not a guy that gets a ton of steals or blocks. Like, I don't love him as much at 8K on FanDuel as I do at 72 on DraftKings. But
yeah, just because he's so scoring dependent, right?
Yeah. On FanDuel, you're really looking for guys that can get, multiple steals and blocks on top of the usual stuff. All right. But we'll move over to small forward. Paul George, 9,600 against Brooklyn. Like, that's too cheap. I love that price. Love this spot. Brooklyn turns the ball over a ton. This could be a spot where he gets multiple steals and blocks. Just looking at his last few games, 3 steals and 1 block. His last game, 2 games before that, 3 steals, no blocks. 2 games before that, 6 steals, no blocks. So, Brooklyn, a team that turns the ball over a ton, gets blocked a ton. 9,600, very nice price for Paul George. I have a lot of interest. What's his price on FanDuel?
10 even.
10 even, okay. That's not bad either. If Josh Richardson's out, then Justice Winslow at 6,100 will be interesting. Aaron Gordon is questionable for the Magic. So if he's ruled out, you just definitely play Jonathan Isaac at 5K. Like that a ton. Probably want to play Evan Fournier as well at 5,400. And, Jabari Parker, man, he was in my core yesterday. He had 25 points at half against Sacramento. Looked like he was going for 50. And he just shit the bed the second half. Finished with 29. Still made 5x value. But against Orlando, he's getting all his run on the second unit with, like, all these scrubs. So he's getting just a ton of usage. He's, getting assists, getting rebounds, scoring points. A couple steals and blocks he can add in as well. With no Aaron Gordon, they're going to be worse on the rebounding side. And Aaron Gordon usually plays on that second unit. He checks out a little early in the first. So he's not going to be there. Just makes it better for Jabari. I don't mind that either.
All right, man. Is that it for the top?
Yeah.
All right, man, what you got down in Value Town?
So if Aaron Gordon's out, Terrence Ross is 4,900. We've seen him go for 40 plus multiple times. Definitely have some interest depending on Aaron Gordon. Man, it gets ugly quick after that. If Josh Richardson misses, you gotta like Derrick Jones Jr., the fucking human highlight film. He's 3,400 on DraftKings. If Josh Rich misses, he's played 24 and 23 minutes in their last two games with Jay Rich there. If Jay Rich misses, you may see even higher, like towards 30. And Detroit's terrible against like forwards. That's really it, though. It's only 6-game slate. It falls off fast. I do see that Damari Carroll is actually already ruled out for the Nets. So that's going to make, Alan Crabb, Joe Harris, and even like Rodolin's Kuloiks, who has been starting, all a little bit more appealing. We'll have to see who does start. But you take one of them out, they're all really cheap, getting paced up versus OKC. They'll be on a list of guys we're looking at tomorrow as well.
Alrighty. I guess if you wanted to get some exposure to the Brooklyn game, like either like Harris or Krabby, like who would the guy you think you'd want to go for?
I mean, Crabb just had a great game. It went for like 37 DraftKings points in their last game. They did like blow out Detroit, so maybe saw a little bit more minutes in usage because they're blowing them out. I think Joe Harris would be the guy I went to. He'd probably be the lowest owned. He can certainly get hot from three. Won the 3-point contest this year, and with no Damari Carroll, and like trying to keep pace with OKC, you're gonna need a bunch of threes to fall. Like I could see him being the one. At this point, I think I like him the most.
Yeah, he's only 4,500 on FanDuel, which I like too. So
that's nice.
Yeah, man. Well, that was Value Town already, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Damn, we're getting to this quick. What you got over at Power Forward?
So let's see. Blake Griffin has not done much in a while. Miami, not the ideal spot that you'd think that you could do well, but his price is down 8,100. It's been a long time.
Same on FanDuel too.
A long time since we've had him down there. Let me see what his history is against Miami. I mean, he did poorly in his last game like a week ago against them or 2 weeks ago, but prior to that, he had 61, a 55, a 46, and a 43. So good history. I actually kind of like him. If I'm going to run somebody from Detroit, it probably would be Blake Griffin, and you're going to get him really low owned. Bobby Portis has just been great since getting into that starting lineup on Washington. 6,200 is probably still too cheap, especially with no Aaron Gordon. He's gone for 40 in 4 of his last 5. At 6,200, you just got to keep playing that. Draymond Green is 5,900. No Durant. A little bit of stuff in the news, like people were like reading Steve Kerr's lips. It appeared that he said, "I'm getting sick of Draymond shit." Marquee game against Houston, no Durant. Like at 5,900, he does have 40-point upside, especially with Durant not there. He's going to get a ton more rebounds, block opportunities, minutes, assist opportunities. Definitely like Draymond Green to step up in Durant's absence. A little bit more down the list. Again, if Josh Richardson's out, I think we could look at Kelly Olynyk. These are guys that are just going to see more usage and a few more minutes if he's out. And, I like Olynyk when he's taking on more stationary bigs versus like versatile ones. They have a harder time like chasing him out to the 3-point line. So it could be a decent Olynyk spot, but only if Richardson is out. And that's really it.
All right, man. What you get down to Value Town?
Value land. Jeff Green, you could take a stab at on Washington. He's still seeing big minutes. Since Portis and Ariza and Jabari Parker got there, his usage and overall shot attempts has gone down. He does pop for 30s, 35s every so often. 4,400, I don't mind it, but it's more of a reach. Not a ton again, but there's enough in like the mid tier that you can get some nice balanced builds. But as of right now, I'm not seeing a ton of value on this slate that we can get a ton of studs like we had today. Well, who knows? By tomorrow that could change. If you think Utah blows out Phoenix, you could take a look at like Josh Jackson for 3.7. I think that's it. You know what? With Aaron Gordon out, maybe there's some value that opens up on Orlando. Maybe a guy like Jarrell Martin at min price, although that's risky. Kem Birch min price. He's been seeing consistently 13 to 18 minutes a game. He's a big point per minute guy. If Gordon being out could elevate him to like 24 minutes at min price, he could be interesting. Again, I'm really reaching though. Like none of these are popping off as like cash game value plays. But decent enough. Even PJ Tucker, 3,800. This guy doesn't do a whole lot, but he plays a ton of minutes. Let's see. Last time they played Golden State, he went for 46. He does a little bit of everything, and will be on the court getting paced up. You could try that as well. But again, I don't really love anything in value land at all, like on the slate that much. But there's enough like 5 to 7K guys that I think you don't have to play anything too risky unless something opens up by tomorrow. So more so, I like the stuff above 5 again.
All right, man. What you got over at center?
Yeah. All right. Andre Drummond. He's either got phenomenal history against Miami or terrible. I got to check that really quickly. Like I said, I kind of like Blake. He's got the good history besides the previous game, and he's cheaper. Drummond's price has been going up. Understandably, guy's been amazing this year. But Miami does have a variety of big bodies they could throw at him. The game 2 weeks ago, he only went for 40 in 31 minutes against Miami, and I suspect as this thing loads that he doesn't. Oh, actually, he's got tremendous history, except for the last 2. Prior to that, he had 7 games above 55, but I think he got ejected 2 games ago when he played 7 minutes, and then their last game they kind of blew out Miami, but he played 31 minutes, only went for 40. But very good history. He's fine. I think if I'm spending 9.4 though, I'm spending it on guards like Curry or, finding a way to get to Harden, Paul George. Nikola Vucevic though, 9,200 against Washington with no Aaron Gordon. Washington's been getting killed by centers. That's actually really enticing with no if Aaron Gordon gets ruled out. Rudy Gobert at 8.2. I don't think I'd land on him, but if you're building a lot of teams and you think Phoenix could keep it close at home, it's a smash spot for him. Boogie Cousins is 7,400 with no Durant. You could see his best game as a Warrior tomorrow. He's got huge size over Clint Capella. They don't really have anything to really mess with him. They really went and got him to, ensure beating Houston. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against them. Clint Capella on Houston is 7-1. He's, going to see a ton of minutes and, just plays the pick and roll so well with both George and Harden. He's definitely viable. Joe Valanciunas, 6,800 against Atlanta. getting paced way up. Going to see a lot of minutes. I could get behind that. Jared Allen is 4,700. Centers have been going absolutely nuts against OKC. Like literally every center for the last like 2 months have just crushed Steven Adams, who is dealing with injuries. I think that's part of it. If you look, they're 30th EVP against the center. And most of the industry doesn't really know that. We already know Damari Carroll's out. Not that he's a center, but he's a guy that gets minutes. He's 4,700. He went for 43 against Atlanta. He's shown us even 60-point upside if the games go into overtime or whatnot. I think he's interesting at 4.7 on a slate. We don't have a ton of value. But that's really it. I don't see anything else down below that's enticing. Definitely like that mid-tier range again with Capella, Joval, Boogie, and if you got the money, Vucevic at centers is appealing as well.
Yeah, I thought Boogie went almost for like a 50 burger last time against Houston, right? Like a 48, I think, on FanDuel or something like that.
46 on DraftKings, probably a tad more on FanDuel because he had 4 blocks and 3 steals. So, with Durant out, he's definitely appealing. What's his price on FanDuel? Like
8,500, yeah. And it was a 47.8 against Houston last time.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably on his minute restriction more so than he's appealing. He's definitely appealing even at 8.5.
All right, man. Anything else you want to throw in before we get down to the position by position? Other than that, you want to tell everybody how to get to become a member.
Get to become a member. $2.50 gets you a day pass. You guys know this enough by now. Good time to join. The nation's very hot. Come in, make some basketball money, and stick around, learn baseball. If you don't play it, it's gonna be extremely, extremely profitable. They're killing spring training. Jump in the MLB Slack chat, and you'll see some of our better minds breaking down spring training slates where you do a tenth of research more than the field. You have such an edge. And that's only going to trickle down into regular season. Again, even if we had a ton of guys who never played baseball. MG was mainly a basketball guy, and had a good basketball season, stuck around for baseball, and it was his most profitable season in DFS, and really catapulted his career. The thing that's nice about baseball is the chalk very rarely is the way to go. We've seen in basketball, it's just you can't get away from it. It's so predictable. In baseball, Mike Trout can go 0 for 4 in the best of matchups and then come back and go 5 for 5 against Max Scherzer. Just very random. And, when you know where the ownership is going, you can make very smart pivots, get multiple exposures to a couple, good or high EV spots. And it's a sport that we seem to have figured out. So $2.50 get you day pass, get you into all the content except for the Slack chat. If you like what you see, kick that membership up to monthly, get in the Slack where all the magic goes down. And it's just been really good lately. We work real hard to try and get our subscribers in a better position to have more fun and success in DFS. And it's been working, and it's very, very fun when that is happening. So give us a shot.
Yeah, I know CK the other day he threw an NHL lineup together, finished I think 3rd or 4th for $1.50 on a $3 entry.
Wow, so, I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was talking the other day before the other pod. It was just wild. It's yeah, man, I just NBA was going all right, so I was I just had a couple bucks, so I threw it into some NHL, and he's he finished top 10, I think, or something like that on a $3 smaller field, got $150.
There's really nothing better than doing that. I love NASCAR. I was doing really well till MDB dropped from 12th to 25th this weekend, and I don't know shit about NASCAR. I do the show with you, or read your article, read Cashin's article, put them in, and then when you win money, you 20, 30x on $10, it's just so awesome. It's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, we've had somebody take down something. The Dole, I think, 2 weeks ago won a G. Another guy last week ended up tied for, I think, 6th or 7th. It was $230 or something like that. Another member had two of the same lineup. Got like $37 in the $1 entry. So yeah, man, it's been on fire, man. Yeah. That's what we do. We just got to keep grinding, like you said, and we'll take everybody to the promised land, man. That's what we do. So, all right, man. Let's get through these top threes, man. What you got over at point guard for your top three?
All right, so Steph Curry is going to be cash game viable, optimal, good play with Durant out. Chris Paul at 6,900, I like a lot, and I will roll with Spencer Dinwiddie as my third.
All right, man. What you got over at shooting
guard? Klay Thompson, James Harden, and Dwayne Wade.
D-Wade. All right, man. What you got over at small forward?
Paul George, Jonathan Isaac, and you could play Isaac even if Aaron Gordon plays, but I mean, if Gordon's out, he's just a must. And Andre Iguodala.
All right, man. What you got over at power forward?
Power forward, like Bobby Portis, like Draymond Green, and we'll go with Blake Griffin.
And last but not least, man, we got center.
Yeah, Nikola Vuce, especially if Gordon is ruled out. DeMarcus Cousins and Clint Capella.
All right. All right, so that's it for us tonight, man. Paulie, you want to take us home?
Yup. If you're watching on YouTube, iTunes, Twitch, Twitter, Podbeam, Facebook, do us a solid, hook a brother up, like, share, support, do those things. Helps the nation keep doing what we do, and we love doing what we do. I love these 6 to 10 game slates for NBA. We've been doing really well. Come check it out. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep the streak going. It's been almost a 2-week heater, which I told everyone it was about to come. I could just kind of start to feel these things, and pleasantly surprised how long it's been lasting. So get in here before it dies out, and we got to find the next heater.
Nice, man. All right. Well, for myself and Paulie D, that's it for us here at the Wise Take Nation, man. I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow in the Wise stream right before lock. So good luck, nation. Keep tuning in.
Peace. Not sure. I texted him. Yeah. Yes. All good.